something out of nothing was entirely inappropriate. My approach, similar to that taken in Founding Brothers, was to assume that narrative is the highest form of historical analysis, that by inhabiting certain propitious moments and telling their stories, I stood the greatest chance of encountering and hunting down my quarry. Later on, I discovered that some of the stories I had chosen to tell were as much about failure as success, in part because some of the problems facing the founders were insoluble, in part because some problems did not call out their fullest creative energies. Irony was also at work, meaning that impressive resolutions of some problems closed off options to solve others. By circumscribing federal power, especially at the executive level, for example, the founders placed the threat of despotism on the permanent defensive, but in so doing made it virtually impossible to end slavery or reach a just accommodation with the Native Americans. This is a story, then, about tragedy as well as triumph, indeed about their mutual and inextricable coexistence. I come away from it still believing that the gathering of political talent at this historical moment is unlikely ever to be surpassed, which I suppose means that the Henry Adams quip, though wickedly mischievous, is not wholly unfair. But I also come away with a more chastened sense of celebration, periodically wishing that the founders had been demigods who could perform miracles. Then I catch myself and realize that, if flawless, they would have nothing to teach us. And they do. Prologue. The Founding. During the last quarter of the 18th century, a former colony of Great Britain, generally regarded as a provincial and wholly peripheral outpost of Western civilization, somehow managed to establish a set of ideas and institutions that over the stretch of time became the blueprint for political and economic success for the nation-state in the modern world. Over the course of the next 2 centuries, these ideas and institutions, labeled democracy or liberalism, though neither term would have been recognizable to the founding generation, replaced the monarchical dynasties of Europe in the 19th century, then defeated the totalitarian despotisms of Germany, Japan, and the Soviet Union in the 20th. Before we embark on the stories that follow, we need at least to glimpse the contours of the larger story, which is about the triumph of representative government bottomed on the principle of popular sovereignty. A market economy fueled by the energies of unfettered citizens, a secular state unaffiliated with any official religion, and the rule of law that presumed the equality of all citizens. What seemed so brazen and improbable at the time has become the accepted global formula for national success. The only alternative, apart from North Korea's and Cuba's last stand versions of communism, is Islamic fundamentalism, and its essentially medieval values appear to be fighting a desperate rearguard action against modernity itself. The first enduring version of political modernity made its initial appearance in the United States during the Revolutionary Era. The most prominent revolutionary of all, George Washington, offered the first comprehensive explanation for this stunning achievement, and, rather interestingly, he chose to emphasize the fortuitous conjunction of large-scale historical forces beyond human control, rather than the actions or decisions of men. In Washington's formulation, written in 1783, even before the full story had played out, the American Revolution enjoyed 2 incalculable advantages: time, or perhaps timing, and space. The foundation of our empire was not laid in the gloomy age of ignorance and suspicion, he wrote, but at an epoch when the rights of mankind were better understood and more clearly defined than at